Discussions have been ongoing in the West since March 2022 on how to make the best use of Russian frozen assets to support Ukraine. According to Ukrainian Justice Minister Denis Malyuska, the June G7 summit is expected to make a final decision on the fate of Russian assets. He said that on the eve of the meeting, the USA set a very good example by adopting a law on the possibility to seize Russian frozen assets located in the USA. The minister outlined three possible scenarios.
In the super-optimistic scenario, there would be confiscation. In the neutral scenario, there will be seizure of revenues against a certain loan so that such revenues, accrued, for example, for 10 years in advance, will be paid in one tranche now. The pessimistic scenario is the deduction only of current income accrued on the amount of Russian assets, a maximum of 5 billion euros per year.
According to the minister, the UK and the US have the most radical positions. The rest of the countries have a more restrained stance. In particular, the Wall Street Journal writes that Germany is an ardent opponent of asset confiscation. According to the publication's analyst, Berlin is allegedly afraid that this could set a precedent for lawsuits or confiscations of assets of Germany itself as a part of reparations for World War II.
Berlin argues international law prohibits individuals from making claims against states in foreign courts, and that state assets are immune from seizure. Violating this principle in Russia's case would undermine Germany's long-standing legal position, Berlin officials said, from the Wall Street Journal.
Apart from Germany, France and European Central Bank are also against the confiscation of Russian assets, as they are concerned about the credibility of European financial institutions. Earlier, in an interview with Reuters, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said that the direct seizure of Russian assets is fully justified and does not incur any financial and legal costs. But according to Yellen, the disagreement among European countries forces the US to look for other options.
The Europeans have taken a very constructive step, and that is the most of Russian assets held in Belgium have now converted to cash, and Euroclear earns interest on those assets. The European Union has agreed to segregate that interest and essentially move forward on a program in which it can be transferred to Ukraine. That is an approach that could be broadly supported by countries that are concerned about seizure of assets. There are a range of options. Janet Yellen, United States Secretary of the Treasury, in comment to Reuters.
The Kremlin also reacted to the statements about the legitimacy of direct confiscation of Russian assets. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov said that the so-called retaliatory measures will depend on how the discussion develops further. Since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Western countries have frozen more than $300 billion of Russian assets. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Andriy Dmitrenko, UATV News.